Hey guys, my name's Jesse. If you're here, you're probably wondering what's going on in my life and why it's drastically changed, or maybe you're just here to check out my testimony, or maybe you're just trying to find a little Jesus in your life. So I would love to share my testimony with you guys. But first, I'd just like to give you a little bit about myself and my background. I grew up in a broken home. My childhood was pretty rough. I know most of us had a pretty rough childhood, but uh, mine was particularly. I bounced around a lot, and I experienced quite a bit of abuse. And by the time I was 16, I was homeless. I bounced around from homeless shelter to homeless shelter, to eventually to a group home, to eventually getting my own place by the time I was 17, while still going to school. So in grade 11, I had my own place. I threw a lot of parties. Um, I didn't have family around. I didn't have a support system. I was in Calgary on the streets. Basically, came from absolutely nothing, trying to survive. Um, by the time I was 22 years old, I 22 or 23, I joined the pipeline. And if anyone's working in the oil field, they would know that um, it puts a toll on your body, your spirituality life, and your mental. It's definitely not for the weak. Um, you sacrifice a lot being on the road, pipelining, and unfortunately, a lot of us we resort to drugs and alcohol. And being in the oil field for almost 20 years now, so I've been doing it for about 18 years. I had a lot of unchecked addictions, and two of them being the big ones was drinking and smoking cigarettes. So throughout all this, I basically tried almost everything there was out there, and being smoking and drinking for over 20 years was a big one for me. I was a slave to it. So going back to the beginning of my testimony, is it began when Charlie Kirk died, and I didn't necessarily agree with everything that Charlie Kirk had to say, but he did stand for Jesus and he was into politics. And I'm still trying to find a racist video of him, by the way. So if you guys can help me out with that, by all means, throw it my way. But anyways, when he died, for the next 6 months, Jesus has been on my mind on and off. And I ended up buying a cross for my wall, and I bought a picture of Jesus with some wolves and a lamb. And never really opening the Bible, not even looking into his story. But I would say last March, it was about March, I phoned a friend. We had a mutual friend that passed, and I can't even remember exactly why I was phoning him, but I think I was just doing a wellness check or just checking up on him. And I was telling him I wanted to go to Peru, to go to ayahuasca. And I felt like I had a little bit of healing that I needed to do. There was something that was going on with me that I needed to fix. Not that it was hindering my life like crazy, but there was still something empty in me. Um, so I told him that, and he said 5 words that changed my life. And that is, have you tried Jesus Christ? Now, from him being from the oil field and a pipeliner like myself, I wasn't sure if he was joking, because that is something it's pretty hard to bring up in the oil field, is religion or Jesus. There's a lot of anger that kind of resonates around that. So I asked him, are you joking? He goes, no, I'm very serious. So we ended up having a conversation about Jesus, and he really got the ball rolling for me. So thank you for that, Matt. I just would like to show a little appreciation towards that, because it's not easy talking about Jesus. It does get easier and easier as you do it. That's kind of why I'm making this video, because I'm really hoping to reach out to people about Jesus and the powerful healing that he can give to you in your life. And yeah, so I started looking and watching this TV show called The Chosen. Now, if you're like me at the time, where you don't like to read, or your reading level is very low, the Bible can be a very hard book to read. So I decided to watch a TV show called The Chosen. And by season one, or in season one, I'm kind of dipping my toes in and out. I'm kind of watching it here and there. But by season two, I had my Bible and my phone, and I'm watching the show, and I'm doing my references. I'm looking into the Bible to see if this stuff is true or not. And it turns out this show is actually quite biblically accurate, according to the Bible. So the first 2 months, I went through this phase where every time I'd see a miracle, I would just start crying. And I would cry over almost just about everything. And I talked to someone about this, and they said their conclusion is, that's the Holy Spirit that's just washing through you, getting rid of all that bad stuff, and just filling you up with these good holy things. And I found that was Jesus just softening my heart. We go through life and a lot of hardships in life, betrayals and heartbroken, and a lot of people resort to hardening their heart, and I think that's just a natural instinct that we all do. But as you let the Holy Spirit flow through you, your heart must be softened, and I think that's what was going on. And I'm kind of glad I'm over that phase, because it gets kind of embarrassing when you start crying about everything. But I think he truly was just softening my heart. So while this is all going on, I'm still smoking, I'm still drinking, I'm still getting drunk. And if anyone knows me, I've been trying to quit smoking for like for the last 5 years. I've been on my last pack of smokes for 5 years, if anyone's worked with me. And I decided to do a prayer, and I asked Jesus to take my free will away from me, to get rid of my nicotine addiction. I didn't want it anymore. And if you guys know me, I've tried everything. I've tried nicotine patches, nicotine gum, substitutes. I've even tried getting hypnotized, and nothing was working. I woke up the next day without a single craving. He got rid of that. And to say that's not a miracle, I would just be lying to myself. Because if anyone knows anything about addictions, especially 20 years into it, he got rid of it like that. And that's when I started to go even more deeper and deeper into it. And if you do decide to get into this and start discover Jesus, go 2 feet in like I have. Follow his commandments, even if you don't understand them. And what I found was, the farther I drew away from sin, the more clear that inner voice in my head was. And some of us call it conscious, some of us call it instincts. I truly believe now that God put that voice in our head to be a sound of mind for us. And I believe that's one way he can speak through us. And one of the things that was in my head was, I have to go reach out to this lady about Jesus. Now, this lady has been fighting cancer, for quite some time now. It went into her lungs. She got half her lung ripped out to try to get rid of it. And unfortunately now it's in her brain. So I fear she doesn't have much time left on this earth with us. So I never engaged in a conversation with anyone about Jesus. So you can imagine how scared I was to do this. And it was telling me, my inner voice was saying, you got to go reach out to her about Jesus. And even if she was going to be mad at me, I hope that she could at least find it in her that I'm only mentioning this because I do care. So I pack up my tent, my sleeping bag, and I drive 2 hours to the city, and I go there and I reach out to her, and the conversation went wonderfully. It was like nothing what I thought in my head. You know, I thought it was going to be bad. I thought she was going to get mad, you know, angry, and that was the last thing I wanted to do was bring anger to her, especially having brain cancer and whatnot. But it actually went quite well. After that, the next day, I found myself around a bunch of youth that I don't know. I went to a friend's place and there was like 20 kids. And I'm discovering that these kids don't believe in God, or some do, and they just feel like he's unfair. So next thing you know, I'm evangelizing to all these kids on why God is real and why there is suffering and why there is pain. And it all just boils down to God's love and his free will for us. So I stay in Calgary for about a week. I'm kind of just spreading the word with Jesus around the community and the people that I know. And I come back and I go to smoke some weed. I figured, you know what? I've been serving Jesus all week. It's time for a little me time. It was kind of my mentality. And I'm on Discord with a friend and we're talking, and I went to go have a toke, and I felt so disconnected from God and so disconnected from him that I never want to touch it again. And again, this is something I've been smoking for 20 years. I've always smoked weed my entire life. And I decided in that moment I wasn't going to smoke weed anymore. And I prayed to God that he revealed what smoking did to me. And in my mind, I was thinking just about the nicotine, but I think he kind of threw that in there too, to make me more vigilant and more sober. So, yeah, it's quite amazing what's been happening in my life. So as I'm going full deep into this Jesus thing, I'm trying to do my best to follow his commandments. My world is unraveling in such a beautiful way that it's just so powerful that I need to share with people. And even my kids say I seem like a different person. I seem more happy. I'm able to reciprocate and give love in ways I couldn't imagine that I could before. You know, so in turn, because of that, I see more light and more life in my kids because of it. And if anyone's around me, I'm sure they see quite a bit of a difference in my life too. But it's just been such a journey to experience this all. And I got baptized on Father's Day. And again, another beautiful day. I got baptized with my brother and his family. And I got to cook Eggs Benny for everyone. I got to reunite with some old relationships that I had that even I've held grudges against them for years. But if there's one thing that Jesus is teaching me, it's to forgive and learn how to forgive quick. And wow, what a beautiful day it was to see these people again and to truly forgive them for the stuff I felt very hurt by. And but around 2 p.m. on that day, the day that I got baptized, someone reached out to me, a seed that I planted weeks ago, and asked if I want to go to church with them. And I said, yeah, heck yeah, let's do it. And I just found it a little funny that this popped up on the day I got baptized, and I felt like that was the Lord saying, you're on the right track, you know, just keep planting the seeds. So that's why I'm here, sharing my testimony, sharing the peace that it's brought me, that hole that's been in me forever, you know, is being filled for the first time ever. And I'm more at peace, I'm more loving, and it has just been such a beautiful last 4 months of my life that I've got to share it. So if you guys are experiencing anxiety, depression, addictions, or if there's that hole that's in your heart that needs to be filled, check out Jesus, because it's changed my life for the better. And I hope you guys find this helpful. I hope this brings you closer to Jesus. And have a wonderful day. Thank you.